Hello music fans and welcome back to my channel. My name is DarcHelmut and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This is a very difficult video for me. Um, for the first time I think I'm really stuck for exactly what I want to say, so I'm really going to wing it on this one, so forgive me if we have some extended pauses or perhaps some of the words come out a little jumbled. And the reason why this video is so difficult for me is because I think for the first time on my channel, I'm reacting to a video with real purpose. And the purpose behind this one is, well, I guess there has to be a little bit of a story to go along with it. So where do we start? We'll start about why we're making this video. Uh, 20 or so years ago, I guess, I had gone through a very difficult time in my life, and I was having a hard time adjusting to what I was seeing in society, and I was suffering a lot of pain from that. I'm heavily empathetic. So when I get in the crowds of people, and if anybody in that crowd's not particularly happy, it can really affect me deeply. And it was a very big burden for me to carry through my life. So at one point I had to kind of deal with that, and I had to find ways of um, communicating with myself and ways of kind of bleeding off these strong emotions that would overcome me sometimes. So I had to learn some new techniques. So I went through, yeah, like I said, I went through a couple of years to kind of discover that and just rediscover myself and kind of reevaluate my place in the world. And when I came out the other side of it, I had been kind of out of society for a while. I became somewhat agoraphobic, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's when a person has difficulty being in public per se. So after I'd gone through that, it was time to kind of rebuild my life and get working again and so on and so forth. But when you go out and you're applying for work, confidence is very important because you have to portray, you have to speak, um, you have to be interviewed, obviously, and you have to be able to convince people that you're worth taking a chance on. And I came across, well, actually, a friend of mine who was also my neighbor worked for this gentleman. His name was Eagle. And he asked me if I would be interested in helping out. So I went and I spoke to Eagle, and he hired me. And, over the next 10 to 12 years, we worked very close together and we got to know each other very well. He was a much older gentleman. He was, I guess, in his 70s when I met him. But anyways, yeah, I always felt a real strong connection with him. One, because, he took a chance on me. Like, he might not have known it at the time that he was taking a chance on me, but I had gone through some, like I say, some real difficult times, and I didn't know how I would respond when I kind of put myself out there. So yeah, and he was an amazing man. As I got to know him and realized, the sacrifices he made in his own life, and he is just one of those guys who, from an early age, he worked, and that's all he knew. And he did have an amazing wife and a couple of great boys, a couple of great children, who I also know both of them. And yeah, I had a real connection with that family and his wife as well, who is still very dear to me now and still very important to me now. But anyways, to get into the details of it, he is diagnosed, I guess, last year with late stage lung cancer. Sorry, just a moment. And anyways, despite this diagnosis, he still went to work every day. He was still kind. But you could tell that things were changing. And I could tell and I could feel the pain that he was going through. And he kind of changed a little bit. He became a little more difficult, I guess. And yeah, sometimes he got quite hard with me for a while. So I kind of had to walk away from that. That's at that time I decided that I was going to retire from managing or from working daily at that business, and I was just going to continue to kind of manage it from afar because again, the family was very important to me, the business was very important to me, and I know he leaned on me very heavily to maintain the running of that business from a day-to-day basis. But anyways, he did succumb to his illness earlier this year. And what made it so painful is I was supposed to meet him for lunch, and I kind of sloughed it off. And I said, yeah, later in the week, I was just being lazy or whatever it was. I don't even remember the exact reasons why I pushed it back. But anyways, the Friday that I was to meet him for lunch, he got up that morning as he always did for years. Because he never stopped going to work, even well into his 80s. He never missed a day of work. He was always there. He didn't do a lot. He'd come in and he'd come in and make his coffee, hang out and chat. I hooked him up with a computer so we could watch YouTube videos. So he got up that morning and he went to the bathroom. And and that's where he remained until he was found. You know, you often hear the advice to tell those people you care about every day how much you care about them because you never know. It could be a car accident, whatever, whatever. You know, we're never prepared for death. And often we just don't see it coming. Even knowing his diagnosis, he was just, like I say, he never stopped. He never stopped coming to work. He must have known. He must have known. And there's very briefly, a nice story that his wife told me. I guess the night before they were out dancing, and they used to do a lot of dancing when they were younger. But as Eagle got older, he didn't want to dance anymore. But apparently the night before, he took Eliza dancing, and he didn't want to stop. It's like he knew. Could have been the last night. So, anyways, sorry. We're going to switch the topic a little bit now to get to the video that's in front of us. When I was younger, 1980, a movie came out called The Blues Brothers. Many of you probably know the movie. And there's a particular lady in that movie who was also very influential to Freddie Mercury, and that's kind of perhaps why I started paying attention. Her name was Aretha Franklin. Great soul gospel singer. So I started listening to a little bit of Aretha Franklin, discovering kind of my first time discovering kind of soul gospel music. And through Aretha Franklin, I came across this other lady Mahalia Jackson. And I haven't heard a lot of Mahalia Jackson, and there's a reason for that. Because every time I hear her voice, it does something to me. It reaches into my soul. And I remember as a 15, 16-year-old hearing her for the first time. Like I am now, I cried. You know, something teenage boys usually don't try to make a habit out of. Um, so I want to dedicate a song to Eagle. And that song is Take My Hand, Precious Lord. So we're going to listen to Mahalia here. And those of you who don't know who she is, she's a very well-known soul gospel singer. Extremely well-known. Probably one of the greatest. And I think you're going to understand why when we listen to this one. So, as I said at the start of this one's a little different from my normal reactions, obviously. So please, relax and take a listen to this one. And although you didn't know the man, just know that he was kind. And he sacrificed so much in his life. And I guess this is my way of saying thank you.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. But through the storm, through the night, to the light
So there we have it, Mahalia Jackson, Eagle. That one's for you. Miss you. Um, and I just really hope you're in a wonderful place. Take care, everyone.